Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beards Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beards Media podcast.
Welcome back to In the Side of the Storm, where we talk all things Cyclones. I'm your host, Dave Larson, sitting in the AKC Marketing Studio with Andrew Downs and sponsored by Revelton Distillery and our new friend at Green Beret Realty, Dan Douglas. Here with my Storm Team partners, Brent Curvey and Marcus Pfizer. Gentlemen, how are you?
Wonderful.
Great.
Wonderful.
Great week for the
Cyclones.
Yes.
It's a Cyclone
Celebrate.
Nation again, baby. Cyclone State, my bad.
We've now won 2 of the last 3. I think we just ended at that in the discussion there.
It's all about what's happened recently, not all those 30 and 40 years back. It's about right now.
That's right. That's right. You know, we've got some really cool sponsors. Thank you to Dan Douglas with Green Beret. We're broadcasting live just outside your front door there, Brent, in Urbandale at Coach's Kalachi's. Had a good time. We had Conrad Hawley with the men's basketball team, the CEO, stopping by and very literally was holding babies and shaking hands, and it was good to see him. And he's a lot, I don't know, he's a lot thinner and just more sleek than you see him on the bench at men's games. It was really cool to see Conrad there at the game. Or at the event there, Brent.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna be like 6'9". I didn't scout him to see how tall he was, but I was like, oh, well, he's just like a normal dude. Like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like a midget, like I'm sure I will standing next to Marcus. But next to Conrad, I was like, oh, this is cool. We can have a friendship because you got friends that are too tall. You can't dap them up and bring it in because then. A guy like me, I'm in the middle of your chest and stuff. That's never cool to me.
We'll have to keep that in mind the next time you see Marcus. Marcus, you'll have to take your shoes off. So you're under 6'8".
Who under 6'8"?
Well, you are without your shoes, right? I thought you were 6'8" with my shoes.
No, I'm 6'8" and 3, right at 6'9" with my shoes on. I'm 6'8" without my shoes.
Oh, 6'8" without your shoes. Okay.
That's how they measure you. It's the weirdest thing. Like, that's why Barkley said, I play in my shoes. Why would you measure me without my shoes on?
Right.
So that's why I don't never say, people say their height with their shoes on. I've never said I was 6'9". I've been posted that in a few places because that's what they measure you with your shoes on. But I've always said I was 6'8" because that's what they measure me without my shoes.
Got it. You may have missed out on a portion of that, Marcus, because you had called in, but we had some discussions about this year's team and how practices have been going. And he said Otts has really wanting to take them to the next level. And we made some comparisons to your team under Coach Eustace, your junior year when you went to the Elite Eight, and he had made reference to that, and he said, "Oh yeah, Marcus Pfizer, that guy's a legend." So, congratulations there. You have to respect that this year's team.
Who said that?
Conrad Hawley did.
Okay, Conrad. Yeah, I mean, we're looking forward to see. I'm excited to see what the team do. I don't want to put too much on them. I think the biggest thing for us, early on, I don't think we knew how good we were. We were, we had a subpar year before the sophomore year. Then, of course, Cantrell and Jamal came in and some other pieces, and that really changed the dynamic. So early on, you really didn't know. We know how strong and tough we were as a dynamic of the team that we had. But I think it was, it was early on after we lost to Cincinnati. We knew that we had something, even though we weren't strong enough to beat them at that time. Would have loved to run into them again later on in the season. But I think that tournament is the one that really showed us that, we had something dynamic in Jamal Tinsley. Like, he came out of nowhere. And to push Mike Nurse to his natural position, to be able to shoot it, and the toughness of Cantrell, everything just all fell in line, and the rest was history. So, definitely excited to see what these guys do early on, how practices and things are, and that's going to tell the tale. Don't want to put too much on them early in the beginning, but shit, we ready for them to get rolling.
I think we're about a month away from basketball practices starting and our first games coming into play. So we'll shift over to football, and again that Saturday we kick things off with the live broadcast there from Coach's Kolaches, and keeping Brent busy in the back. And he was running around. He's hosting the show. He's cooking food. He's taking money. And again, thank you to Green Beret Realty, who was there and purchased the first 20 kolaches for everybody. So that was a lot of fun. And then it steamrolled right into the afternoon game at 2:30 kickoff in Iowa City, where the Hawks really looked pretty good. I think we were a little bit concerned with what the defense was going to look like and what that linebacking crew was going to look like, and Iowa's rushing game. And it really looked like we thought it was going to look in that first half.
I think it was a lot of nerves, man. I was texting. Obviously, we were kind of talking in the chat too, and I was just like, these guys look nervous. Like normal runs that you'd see a Boo make, he wasn't really making a lot of the reads early. There was, I just, it's one of those things. This is his first start in a major game like that. The atmosphere is crazy. The crowd is into it, and he's trying to put on for his team. And like, I get it. And you could tell a different team kind of came out that second half, and he just kind of put that first half behind him, and things changed.
Yeah, for me, I always wanted to have a sense of feeling like me and my team, no matter who we were facing, we belong in the game. Those type games are those games where you can get yourself so psyched up for it mentally that you come crashing down so fast because all of the adrenaline and everything that got you pumped for the beginning of the game. Guys are making all kinds of noise in the locker room, coming down through the tunnel, walking to the field. Like it's just, I learned early on there's just a huge sense of falseness, and it breaks your focusness. I'm already an introvert, so me being by myself and just sitting and focus is always what I've always done. And when you're able to sustain that type thing, you tend to slowly bring it back. We always figure we're always going to have that tough first half against Iowa. We all sit back with anxiety and everything watching the game, but I just always felt, that we're going to do something. We're going to make some plays. We're going to figure it out. My sophomore year when we finally beat Kansas at home that year, Kansas was ranked high. And just that whole game after we got past the first couple of minutes, I didn't feel like we were out of the game, even though we were, that year undermatched. My junior year, we were just so much better than them. Go Cyclones. But that year, I just knew, that game, I just knew that we were in that game. And once you make runs and things like that, momentum momentum is really big in sports. And so once you can keep it close, anything can happen. And I was watching the clock. When they didn't make that 2-point conversion, I said, that's going to be it. That's going to be it. So I kept it in my back pocket. We kept on chipping away at it. And once the freshmen get out there to make that kick, I told the wife, I said, this ball game, and the rest is history.
Were you guys surprised that Ferentz went for the 2-point conversion early in the third quarter? Or was that something that you would have done as well?
It was because they had 2 field goal. Wait. So I wouldn't have. Oh, it would have made it 14. So yes, that makes sense. So it would have made it 14. Oh, I mean, it's still a 2-possession game, but so you don't necessarily lose anything if you don't get it. You know what I mean? It's still you still got to score twice.
It's still the game at the end. I felt like it was early on and it was too high on the emotions. Like, just be safe about it because we just never know what's going to happen at the end. Because had they gone for the one and got the one, then the score would have been tied at the end. If we're in the same position to kick the field goal. But I think it was a little bit on emotions, trying to, run the score up. I mean, they were making pretty good runs. And they felt like they were going to, keep the momentum. And, obviously that didn't continue on and, they paid for it in the end.
Well, and really it was a tale of 2 very different halves, both offensively and defensively. I mean, we were pinned back on the first 2 possessions within the 5-yard line and even closer to the 2 or 3-yard line, and really could get nothing going. Iowa's running game looked really sharp. We're concerned about our defense. And then we missed field goal by the freshman who later came back and certainly redeemed himself and became the hero of the day. But that first half was totally different from the second half, where defensively we just buckled down and didn't give Iowa anything. And offensively, Mouse, who has been on this show, it's like he was using the first half as a trial balloon to see what he could get away with and see what the Iowa defense was going to do. And then just threw caution to the wind and said, this is my game now.
Yeah, Brent would know better than me in the football aspect side of it all. And as the players, we may not get it, may not understand, but that's why it's always good to trust the system and can continue, because the coaches are seeing more than what we're seeing. So just stay with the game plan, stick with it. Again, the excitement of coming out, they're not going to keep the same momentum. They're not going to keep the same hypeness and everything that's going on. And once we slow it down and steady chip away at it, then, anything can happen.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell he kind of he started getting a little fancier, like on that touchdown to Higgins. Like they, lined up in the 3-back formation and shifted out, right? So it's one of those things where early on, I'm sure he noticed the nerves too. Like, damn, like, Rocco's getting the ball out quick. Nobody's really getting open. The windows are super tight. It's super high emotions in that second half. It's like, all right, kind of had that breather. Defense did a really good job on 2 of those drives and held them to field goals instead of touchdowns, because they gave up a ton of yards early on. That was the first half. They gave up a ton of yards early on, but we held them to field goals, and that was huge. Because people don't understand, we should have been down 21-0, but the defense kind of locked in, and that's the reality is that's what kept us in the game. And, you can tell that the second half, when Mouse got a little comfortable, like, all right, you guys look like you're settling in. Abu could see the field better. And he, started making cuts, and he had that nice like a 10-yard run or something like that for the touchdowns. He can see, all right, starting to settle in. Good things are happening. Now let's start moving the ball like we know we can. And he opened it up a lot, and that changed everything, because now you could tell the defense was kind of on their heels. Like, wait a minute, like we were doing the punching, now we're getting punched. Like, how do we respond to that? And I think that's what ultimately kind of led to that momentum happening for us, the big pick, and things just kept going. That once that momentum train starts, it's hard to stop it.
And we talked about that last week too, the power of momentum in a game, and that certainly happened in the second half for us. And Brent, you made reference to the defense, and boy, Dominic Orange, the big citrus. I saw flashes of Brent Crevet in there. He was a man among boys in that second half.
Yeah, he was, man. I mean, that's how he should have played early. But again, that first half, I feel like they did enough. You know what I mean? And it wasn't as comfortable. But that second half, it was like, all right, we know who we are. There's no point of being afraid. Like we got nothing to lose. Let's play how we're supposed to. And that dude is different. You know, when he decides to go, he's a problem. He's like that. I mean, if anybody ever watched, Vince Wilfork, he just reminds me so much of him and how he can wreck a game right now at any point. You know what I mean? He's the first person to see the ball move, essentially being right there on it, and he can affect so much, man, right in the middle. But with him waking up, that helped a lot because he's a big leader for the defense too.
That's a great comparison with Vince Wilfork. I mean, we're talking about a guy that had a lot of success in New England and went to multiple Super Bowls with them and really was that team leader on that defense. And Dominic Orange is really that standout right now. And he's right in the middle, so you can't miss him. And he's a big guy. And he stuffed a couple different runs by Iowa as they got closer to that goal line. Instead of 7 points, they got 3. That's a big difference in a game like this.
Huge.
I was also mildly surprised, particularly in the second half, and I'm sure that there are some changes that I, as a layman, maybe didn't see on the offensive line. But, coming into this game, there were some questions on how the offensive line would hold out against the Iowa defensive front. I felt like they did a pretty decent job even in the running game. I was less concerned with the passing game, but in the running game, I felt like we had a couple of holes. And I'm not saying we needed a semi-truck to go through there, but Sama seemed to run the ball pretty well, and that the backup Jalen
Jackson 12
Jackson, right? Yeah. Oh, he was really impressive. He has that little bit of giddy up to him.
Oh yeah, he's real sticky. Like he can stop on the dime, change direction real quick, and that's a big change. He runs really low. Pad level is way lower to the ground. He's got speed too, but I like that combination of him and Sama kind of coming out the backfield because Sama can get you with speed too. He's like a one-cut north-south guy. This kid is like he'll cut 4 or 5 times and, have a guy dead to rights in the hole, but he's open again because he happened on one of those runs right before the touchdown, actually. He had he had like 2 quick cuts and picked up like 8 yards and had 2 guys like they were dead to rights. And
you talk about the receiving core, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Knoll. Higgins on that touchdown grab, he just took it away from the defender. And is that guy a pro or what? I mean, to be able to I've seen the replay a couple different times in a couple different angles, and you look at it and you pause the video, the defender had the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Higgins just said, nope, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's, man amongst boys. It's like if it's a 50-50 ball, I'm not losing. Like that's just the mindset, and you can tell that's what he had. At that mindset, that was a nasty, takeaway from him. And I like his little celebration after, like he did the clown thing in the camera. I loved it.
That was great. I was also impressed with Cale Brzezina, the true freshman that he was injured, did not play against North Dakota, but really played well. I thought played exceptionally well, especially for a freshman. And on top of that, he was a guy wearing the green dot, so he was receiving the plays from John Heacock, and that's a pretty important position for any defense, much less to have a freshman doing it. I thought he played very well, and I can see where the coaches have been raving that he's as good of any freshman linebacker that we've ever had. And we can look back at some really good, from Willie Harvey to Mike Rose, and Cale Brzezina seems to be the next in line.
Yeah, they do a good job too. Just on the basic technique stuff, man. You can tell the guy was smart, and the middle linebackers are essentially the quarterbacks of the defense. So they're in charge of communication and making sure guys are lined up and getting people in the right place. And you got Frailer on the back end, or is it Frailer? But we got Bo on the back end, handling the DBs, and they're such a veteran group. So this is probably the perfect situation for him to come into. Veteran D lineman up front, veteran secondary there. So it's probably the perfect storm for him to kind of walk into. So if he is wrong, he's got backup, right? Somebody can kind of check him and help keep him in line. But I thought he did really well all over the field, made a bunch of tackles, and looked good.
Hey, Marcus, at what point in that second half did you go, I think we got this? Maybe it wasn't necessarily the kick. I think that's the obvious. But was there a point in the second half where you thought, I think we can win this game for real?
It wasn't no particular point in the second half, but before the half, going into the second half, I started to see that I was starting to slow down. Like it wasn't, the pop like it was before. I saw Rocco started to settle in and was trying to make, more crisp, cleaner plays and things like that. So feeling that way, being on the road, like I told you, I love playing on the road. You don't have the same expectations as it is being at home. You're just you against the opposing team and the fans. So I just really, really felt good about it. I knew it was going to be 68-0. I called that from the beginning. To me, I don't care what the score said. It's 68-0, but I just felt really, really good about, having them. You cannot even be ahead, but you can really feel like, people say, well, we got them right where we want them. Well, we losing. You don't get it. You don't understand. It doesn't matter. Like you can feel as a player the dynamic of everything changing, and as long as you stay the course, you got the name of the game is having more points than the other team, about 1 point. And as you can see, we did that and we won the game. So same way in basketball, same way was in football. All we got to do is keep it close. Will we need to keep it slide up under the radar and then pop out when we need to and win the ball game? And that's where it was. And that one right there felt good. It felt better than the one even 2 years ago, last time that we were in Iowa. That one felt good because it felt like now we're starting to Brock and the rest of those guys are gone. We're starting to settle into the next generation of players that's there and understanding how good we can be. And that one really, really felt good on top of it being Iowa.
Denny, I saw Denny Ryan, who's a faithful viewer and listener. We met Denny at the event on Saturday as well. It was good to see you, Denny, and nice to meet you and your dog who stopped by. But he points out that the interception that Darian Porter had in that second half for him was the turning point. And I completely agree on that. That was a big play. And I think the Knoll touchdown pass, the 75-yarder, that turned heads and you thought, oh, things just got really interesting very fast.
Yeah, that interception started that momentum train, man.
That interception was really sexy too.
Yeah,
it was really sexy. You like that type. You like that type stuff to happen because now the crowd's starting to look like these guys are a little bit better than what we thought. These guys have some flair that we didn't know. Oh wow, 75 yards. Do we got a 75-yard touchdown? Maybe we should be concerned. And then you kick that field goal, you see all of the what the fucks.
Right.
Ball game now, but where's the trophy? Where's the trophy? Let's go get it.
Well, I've seen on social media in the last couple of days that Iowa, that play that Iowa ran where he made that interception was the exact same play that Texas ran against us. So for that defense, and we've got some new guys that are out there playing to recognize that, for the defensive staff to recognize that and to make the adjustment for that play to happen, that's a big win. Yeah.
No, that was great. Great play recognition too. I mean, that's film study. That's getting guys in, and there's always like a period. It's like 2 periods a week that you put in practice of plays that beat you up from weeks before, because that's what the best coordinators do. They'll find a way to sneak that one in, right? Because they know, well, Texas caught you with that play. It's one of those things where they watch the teams that are successful, formations they run, things they do, and they throw little wrinkles in their own playbook. And looks like that's what Iowa tried, but it's a better job of Haycock making sure they were prepared for that, so that they recognize the tight end running the wheel. We're not leaving him alone again like we did that last game. And you see the success of what happened there with Porter, sneaking back in that window, closing that thing real quick.
So as a defensive player, Brett, were there any similar situations that you faced where you had a game that a team ran something that the coaches and the staff just harped on for the next 2 or 3 weeks? Like, we can't let this happen again, and to help you recognize it if it were to happen again.
I can't readily think of it. I know it happened. I just can't readily think of any examples. But I mean, that's just the nature of the game, right? Anytime, I mean, we did the same thing. Like, we scout other teams' defenses, like what beat them. Okay, so they got 3 weeks ago, they got bombed by, this reverse double pass, whatever. Oh well, we might sprinkle that in, practice it a few times and pull it out at the right time. But I'm sure it's happened. I just can't truly recall when, but that's all about preparation, man. You got to have those one-offs. You have to at least go through them a couple times and see them. That way, when they do happen, your body's used to how you respond to them.
Yeah.
So as a fan, I've sat through a lot of games, a lot of heartbreak. What were your thoughts when the team came out to line up for a 54-yard field goal by a redshirt freshman kicker? What were you two thinking at the time?
Ball game. Just like we've seen the clip where Brock was standing up watching the screen. He felt the same way. Ball game. There's no way. There's like I've had situations and feelings like that kick right there. I said, young fella's about to win this one. He's about to win this one.
So you had a lot of confidence that he was going to make it.
I had total that I would have bet my last dollar that he was going to make that field goal. Man. To win it, to walk home, he wasn't going back to Ames with that loss. That would have been lost on him, on his foot. He's not going. I can imagine this week for him back on campus time.
Oh man,
come on now.
He's a king.
He probably had a couple of
some roses and a red carpet.
NIL deals off that kick. Something.
It was something. Pop-Tart sent him something.
Well,
you got to give him something.
I think Chris Shipley has some video of him receiving his award for winning that football game with the 54-yard kick. And you're right, he did receive a bunch of Pop-Tarts. And here's that video now.
Oh, man. To a college kid, that's gold. Come on now. That's $8 a box.
Let me get
Man. Somebody said, let me get some.
Right.
Somebody said,
you
let me
already
get some.
know. Let me get that.
Right.
Let me get that.
That's big time,
right
man. That's big time. And people don't understand how important special teams are. There's a lot. Who in the NFL won the game like last week, all field goals? Was it a Thursday night game?
Was it Pittsburgh? It was Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Just won.
Yes, because they didn't get into a touchdown.
Pittsburgh
they didn't score a touchdown.
All field goals.
So that's very important. Like, you can't, people, back in the old school days, you just a kicker, you just a punter. Man, special team, and then they can play for forever. If you got a good niche talent in that, that's very, very important. Super Bowls have been won. Super Bowls have been lost from that. Who is this guy?
Here's a video of a familiar face that Cyclone fans are very well aware of. None other than Mr. Brock Purdy.
Look at that. Look at that anxiety.
That's it.
Like he don't have a game.
Yeah, go on. Let's go. Yeah.
And I love hearing his little. If you watch it over and listen, you can hear his wife just chuckle as he's yelling and cheering.
She's one who's recording, right?
Right. Yeah.
She's
got it.
Like just catch us at the moment. We ain't focusing on nothing. Television.
Iowa State, the special teams. I completely agree. It's so important, but we've been kicked in the nutsack so many times with missed field goals. It was just a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, when the punt on the punt return, we ran into our own guy. We've missed 2-point conversions. I remember Tony Yelk kicking it over the upright that if we had replay back then, the way that we do now would probably be considered good. I can go back to the Seneca was in game, and there's just Colorado missed.
We were out of. We
had so many
We didn't make it
opportunities.
to the Big 12 championship one year because
I literally had no. I was standing there just like Brock was, thinking, okay, I'm disappointed, but I've got a lot of pride in this team that they came back and they almost pulled it off. They put themselves in a position, and that was before the kick, obviously, because I was expecting it to be an Iowa State thing, that there was going to be a miss or block or something was going to happen. Brent, what were you thinking at that time?
I mean, I was asleep, but when I woke up, I was like, man, I saw like 80 messages. I'm like, what did I miss? You go straight to ESPN, and it's like, oh, Iowa State cans the game with this 54-yard. I'm like, what? Yeah, it was crazy. I mean,
and Jamie Pollard and Matt Campbell, it's
favor.
not like Brent's sleeping on you on the game. He was up like late all night long cooking.
I was up almost 2 days straight, man.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I watched the first half, and then like it was watching me the second half. But
man,
I caught up to it. It is what it is. I was still there in spirit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still there in spirit. But seeing it, man, knowing I had that many messages, I got some friends that are Hawkeyes, and I just always love sending those messages to them, like good old Twister, and put the state next to it so they know who runs the state again. They're like, oh, there you go with that. Yeah, I am, because this is what y'all do to me. So I'm giving it to you right now.
That's right. 2 or 3. That's all we got. Scoreboard. Right?
Scoreboard.
I know I played Juicy Wiggle. I can't tell you how many times, and Sweet Caroline how many times. My next door neighbor is an Iowa fan, so he was having a garage party at that time.
Oh, yeah.
So
I know they were hurt.
Did you go next door?
What's that?
Did you go next door or?
No, and this is a question I have for both of you. Okay, this is the biggest game in the state every single year, right? Next to basketball, of course. Do you prefer to watch games like this with a group, or are you more of a, okay, I just can't be around anybody, I got to watch it by myself?
That type game, I got to watch it by myself. If I'm with a group, it's enjoying a sports game that I'm not really a fan for one or the other, but that type game that I'm trying to be as much as by myself as possible.
Yeah, I got to at least be with some Iowa State people. Like if I'm a watch that, I'm like, I'm not going to no half and half watch party. It's you got to all be in with Iowa State if I'm going. So otherwise, I'll be at the house and I'll watch it right on my couch so I can get pissed off if I want to. Or I can be as happy as I want to be after. But I'd rather stay with my people. If they got the Cardinal to go, they're good with me. That we can't watch the same game if if y'all are rooting for them, and that doesn't work out, because I talk shit and I try to get under people's skin. And I don't listen to people that you can't talk to me a certain way about football if I know for a fact you didn't make it past high school. So there's not a lot that we can talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like you understand the game on 2 different levels, 2 totally different levels.
They're everywhere.
It's okay, but don't bring that to my door.
And that's probably why I like to be alone, because especially in basketball, it's so ridiculous. And like Brent said, like they yells, "Well, why didn't he just cut up through the hole?" And you like, do you know how fast these players are?
Right.
I don't care if he 360 and probably run a 5.2. Do you know how fast that is to be that massive? And then you're not running into that billboard that's coming through there. So some I got to worry about. I see that hole, but then it collapsed real fast and it's collision. So you got to think about that type of stuff. You're like, it's not that easy, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
So Cyclones win a great game, 20-19. Kyle Conradi, the redshirt freshman, kicks a 54-yard field goal that probably would have been good from 60. What a kick! What a finish to the game. Ends up winning all those Pop-Tarts. What's the coolest award that you've ever received from a game?
What?
I mean, it's hard. I
got a deflated game ball.
Way too many generations ago. Nowhere. When I play pro ball overseas, they give you things like TVs, like 60 and 70-inch flat screen TVs and stuff like that. But it's from a sponsor that's sponsoring the team. They put in millions of dollars or whatever, so it ain't nothing but advertisement. But you don't bring that TV home, so it's just, with the time that you're out there, maybe computers and stuff like that, stuff to help you get by. But ain't nothing like these kids doing.
So what do you got to do? Throw that on the back of the bus and then haul it back to wherever you're staying?
It would be home games.
Okay.
It would be like a home team sponsor, something like that. Even if you're on the road, and you win the game, you're the player of the game, they still, they'll come to the practice facility or whatever, or to the next game and, present you with it.
And Brent, you probably got some cool swag from bowl games, right? Were they not as generous then?
It wasn't. No, it didn't. Oh, matter of fact, you want to know the swag that we got? It's right here. That's part of the cool swag from the bowl game.
Right.
Right. Mini helmet.
You got the right. You got the right logo
extra,
on it, though.
We got some extra sweatpants and some tennis shoes,
stuff,
t-shirts.
Stuff that I would get from Gator anyways.
Right.
Hey, Gator, let me get some more socks or something. They ain't doing nothing like these kids doing it now.
Man, we didn't get any of that stuff.
Well, you got that cool
little trinkets. We got little
not coming home with an Escalade sitting in the driveway. This different generation.
Oh man.
I had an 84 Lumina. 4-door.
Hey, Brent, do you have any of your Sinado sweatshirts or sweatpants or any of that left in the closet somewhere? Do you?
Yep, I do. I got a couple of them. Yeah, just
because those are coming back in fashion again. Matt Campbell's even wearing sweatshirts with Sinado on it.
I've been getting excited about it. I'm waiting for them to drop drop some of that at the store. I usually creep back and try to sneak into the bookstore to see what kind of stuff they got. They call it vintage now. So whenever they do the vintage stuff, I'll try to cop me a sweater or two.
Well, we're going to change your name from Big Play to Vintage, and Marcus, you'll simply just be Legend. So what do you guys think about that? All right, let's.
Friends from back in Iowa at Iowa State, she got the Sinado license plate for a Jeep. She sent me a picture of it. I don't think she got it posted. Erica Thielen, she got the site. She said she was surprised that it was even available, and we both was like, yeah, we were very surprised that that's available. I was looking on the Facebook page, I don't see it, but yeah, she was like, I was surprised that it was available, that Sinado license plate.
Chris has brought it up. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm talking about.
Where's the hoodie?
Again, change the tertiary blue to black or gray and just make that the permanent logo.
Yeah, they get rid of the blue. It's money. I
love it.
It's money right now.
Is that old?
Yeah.
This is eBay.
No, it's vintage, Marcus. It's vintage.
It's not old. It's vintage. Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
There we go. Yeah, it can be yours for $74.99, Marcus.
To fit on who?
What size is it?
Varsity jacket large. It ain't.
I don't know.
There we go.
It's like these area workbooks that I just bought. I just bought a couple of them. And these last pair that just came in were 8.5. My wife's like, "The box looks a little small." I said, "Yeah," and I'm quite pissed off because this can't be my shoe size. And I opened them up. They're missing a 1.
They're missing a 1 in front of
that. Exactly. I was like, "What?" And those are the ones I've been waiting on over the other ones, and now I got to send those back.
The guy packing it probably looked at it and thought, 18's not right.
There's no way. Typo. He did that wrong.
Right. Fat fingered it. Well, he's going to get it right back.
Now you can send it back and get the Brock Purdy version, right?
That's
it. See, he's now a spokesperson for area.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Commercial. Yeah.
I hadn't seen that commercial. I need to look that up. See, now Chris doing some wishful thinking shopping. That's what he doing.
No, this is on his wish list.
All these is in this.
Right.
Is in this cart probably.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's take a turn here and hear a word from our sponsors.
Making great tasting bourbon requires the perfect combination of ingredients, conditions, and time. The longer it rests, the better it tastes. Revelton Distillery's new single barrel bourbon is made from 80% corn, sourced 100% from Iowa farmers. And unlike mass-produced bourbons, each barrel of Revelton's single barrel bourbon is unique, proofed on when it tastes best. As they like to say, it'll be ready when it's ready. And to ensure the highest standards of quality and flavor, owners Rob and Christy Taylor oversee the production and bottling. Every single barrel. Iowa born, Iowa aged, Iowa bottled. Try the new single barrel bourbon from Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com.
In 2023, a crack Green Beret named Dan Douglas retired his military command and promptly escaped to a full-time career in real estate. Today, this man is wanted by home buyers and sellers who want to survive the process without spending a fortune. If you have a home to sell or want to buy one, maybe you can hire Dan Douglas at Green Beret Realty. You can find him at greenberetrealty.com. greenberetrealty.com.
All right, we're back in the AKC Marketing Studios with Brent Big Play Curvey and Marcus, the legend Visor. Brent, we got to change that to vintage, but also this week with that win, the Cyclones have moved up to number 21 in the poll. Number one for us, but getting some love there.
Yeah,
and then
boy.
I saw somewhere, and I probably should have pulled it up, but I saw an article as well from The Athletic that they do their own ranking, and Iowa State I think was at 13, which I thought was interesting. One ahead of Oklahoma at 14. So if you get a chance, check that out. Thought that was pretty interesting. That surprised either of you that they were ranked so high by The Athletic?
The 13 is a little high to me. I think we played well enough to win these games, not in the dominating fashion that we would have hoped and wished for. But nevertheless, I figured at least 21 was going to at least flip flop with those Suckeye guys. But we'll see. I just want us to play solid football and not we're 13. We're on the way and then lose focus and then we go on that roller coaster going downhill. So we definitely don't want that.
Yeah, I think that 21 is kind of, right now warranted. I mean, it keeps them chip on their shoulder, steady fighting to climb higher. I don't know if, 13 there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. But I think where we are at 21 makes a lot of sense. And then we can continue to prove and show. I mean, I think for me, and I'm sure a lot of the guys feel that way too. If I'm at 21, we're like, no, we're better than that. So we just go out and prove it week in and week out, right? So then there is no doubt in anybody's minds, obviously not ours, but no doubt in anybody's minds how much higher we should be. So
I remember my final year. All year long, I never knew where we were ranked at. When we lost to Colorado and we lost to Oklahoma, like I didn't know if it made us fall or go back up or what. Like I literally didn't think about. The only thing I was thinking about was winning these hard, tough Big 12 teams that was coming in. We had to go on the road for, and I literally didn't know when we got to the tournament. I didn't know where we were ranked at. None of that ever even mattered to me. So I mean, you can be ranked, not ranked, and knock off the number one team in the nation. So That was my focus.
So we lead this week into the bye. I can't say, a lot of times the bye week, it can be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. It seems like whenever we've hit a bye in the past, I've always been concerned because we've played really well, and there's just something about disrupting your cadence and just your practice and all your routines, and then firing it back up for the next opponent. Any thoughts on where the bye week falls this go around? And is this good? Is this bad as we lead up into Arkansas State? Not this weekend, but next weekend.
Well, I think the opponent we have coming off a bye is probably perfect.
That's what I was about to ask.
So I think the way the way it's set up is kind of it's okay. I'm not a fan of bye weeks like this early in the season. It's so early. We're like you said, we're just not getting our footing, getting our timing down. Obviously, we've been in camp, but like game speed is different. It's always different. So I feel like we're getting, we got our footing under us. But I think having that week off, good for those who need it. But then coming back with the opponent we have in Arkansas State, I think that's a good kind of prep game before the Big 12 starts.
What makes it typically be this fast, like 2 weeks into it, or
I think a lot of it just in scheduling, right? Just with stadiums and who plays when and who's available to play when.
Yeah, it feels early. I know in years past we played these 3 non-conference opponents, and then we might have a bye week, and then we jump into conference play, or maybe we'll have a couple conference games before a bye week. Or there's been years where we've not had any byes whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So Arkansas State in 2 weeks or on the 21st, and then boom, we go to Houston, home against Baylor, to West Virginia, home against UCF, and then Texas Tech. So got some key games that are coming up on the schedule. Interestingly enough, really, we've got 10 games left, and I think 6 are home games, and I would argue that 7 are home games because one of those away games is down in Kansas City against the Jayhawks, and I think there's going to be quite a contingency of fans that are going to head down to Arrowhead for that game.
Yeah, I'll be there.
When is that game?
November 9th, I believe. Yep, November 9th.
And that's an Arrowhead?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Marcus, I think that there's some direct flights from Vegas to Kansas City you should seriously consider.
It all depends. It all depends on how Halloween whoop my ass, because my daughter she's geared up for this one being Wednesday Addams and us being the Addams family. So, but I should be recovered by then. I'm gonna look and see what's going on.
Just fly out. You can spend the night in the ambulance.
That's it.
Fly back the next day.
The ambulance better be at least 10 feet long on the inside.
Oh yeah, it is. Man, it's comfortable. I'm sure it shipped and made it a lot more comfortable, but it's got some room now. It's stretching there.
Chris, you're muted, my friend.
I'll make room.
And we'll have lots of Revelton down there waiting for you as well. We'll just make it a weekend. Hey, before we go, did you all see the bet that Brock Purdy made with George Kittle with the 49ers? So as we know, Brock, big Iowa State guy. We saw the video earlier of his excitement when the field goal went through. And George Kittle is a well-known Iowa guy.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's got to burn.
Yeah. And that's Brock's old helmet, too.
I was, yes. Unfortunately. But that's when you usually lose, when you're confident.
How quickly did Brock reach out to you?
Oh, this is a small helmet. Pretty quickly. I texted the score instantly. I said, thank you, Brock. You ruined my whole weekend.
If Iowa had won, what would Brock have had to do today?
The exact same thing as me right now.
Is that his old helmet?
Yeah. It smells like it. But I had my Iowa helmet out here too. I tried to put a dark visor on this, but Brock didn't want me to do that. But I get it. It makes sense.
It looks good on you, son. He would have to keep that in his locker all week.
We should have made a deal with the guys over at Hawk's Eye View to require them to wear Iowa State attire during their next show. We were not thinking this through all the way.
At all. That's all right. Well, Brock did it for all of us, so we're good.
When I was playing, I had some run-ins with Kurt Heinrich, down in Kansas, and so it was a great time, after I left to continue to be in Kansas. He's like, oh no, you gone now, and then when I ran into Nick Collis in the same way, Jamal Tinsley was doing them the same way and stuff. So it's always fun. it's definitely fun to have those moments.
What'd you think of the broadcast on CBS? That broadcast, we had a great slot, TV slot, 2:30, really the biggest game on television at that time frame on CBS. Boy, what a production! It really felt big time to have Iowa and Iowa State playing one another in that time slot.
Yeah, you can't get.
Well, they talked about us quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talked about us quite a bit. On the doing the shows, halftime shows, and other things with different teams that were playing around the nation. So, I mean, for me out here in the West Coast, it's never really any kind of bad games. Even the late games out there, it's still 5:30, 6 o'clock here. So, I always get pretty much good games. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So even if I come on super early, I'm already up. So it doesn't matter. So I get to just sit around and watch games for the most of the day, take a couple naps, get disturbed by the kids a few times, but just continue on.
So can we assume, since Iowa State is not playing on Saturday, that's pretty much your schedule this weekend? Naps and sitting on the couch?
I'm going to be watching other games for sure. I'm a fan of the game, not just of Iowa State. I got to watch the other games and see who we could be up against. Colorado probably going to be playing somewhere, and everybody's going to be up talking about that game. So, cool. I'm definitely going to be watching. Don't have to be locked in as much as I would if the Cyclones was playing. I got to will them some of my mental willpower when they're playing. But other than that, I can get up a few times, make the kids something to eat, maybe go somewhere, maybe go to the gym, maybe be on at the gym, not really, really pay attention to it.
Yeah, that's it.
You should take your daughter to McDonald's for ice cream.
Oh, that's not a Saturday thing. That's an everyday thing. She don't like when I'm not exaggerating. Like my points on the McDonald's app is well over 60,000. Because I order before I get there. A lot of time I'm ordering, texting while I'm driving, not supposed to be. But there's quick orders, whatever. I can just hit it and not go to the coupon or whatever to try to get something free. Like, we don't hardly ever get any free food. Like, it's just built up like crazy. But that's she literally, like, I catch her off the bus. She rides the bus, and before she steps off the bus, she's yelling, "I'm hungry, McDonald's." I'm like, the routine. The car be, cool down, running, ready to go. So.
You look so thrilled with your picture with her today getting McDonald's ice cream.
Because she's so
funny.
She's so bossy in the drive-thru. We don't let her get ice cream every day, or every other day, because the ice cream, stomach issues and stuff like that she could have. So a lot of times we don't let her get ice cream. So she's, I tell her, you're just getting French fries, and she likes the Sprite. She said, "Okay, Daddy, soon we get to that window." She got ice cream, and the people know her. We got two McDonald's that's close. One by the job where my wife works. We go down there, they know her, and the other one. The other one, they know her. And my wife even said, "Look how she's looking on the picture, like, because it's been a couple of days since she had ice cream. Like, ice cream, how I missed you."
Right.
She's just, and then so I tell them, it's for a little girl.
Oh,
I say it's a little. I say it's for a kid. Try to make it smaller. When they give it to her big, she's ready for it.
Yeah,
she is ready for
to work. Oh yes, I had a hard day at school today.
She knows what to do.
Yes. So she's normally she will sit in the seat wherever we put her. Typically behind the other side, behind me, adjacent to me, to reach over and, like, if she needs something. But when she see we turn up at McDonald's, she gets out of the seat belt while I'm rolling and get over in the seat behind me. And I don't
know what time it is.
I don't have to pay because I order on the app. She gets the receipt. She say thank you to the people. We go up to the next. Like my window goes past the drive-through window to her window, and she's standing up waiting for the order. She gets all of it out. She passes it out, and she's ready to go. So, for her to get ice cream on a Saturday, that's not a big thing to her.
Brent, what are your plans for this open date?
Man, watching some football, man. I don't have a hectic Saturday this Saturday, so I'm not smoking any meat. So I'll be chilling this weekend, watching some football finally, and it's just being a dad, man. To watch both my boys, the youngest played in Cedar Falls Friday, so we got a 2-hour drive from here to Cedar Falls and then back right after. That'll be fun at night. Trying to make sure I'm awake. Probably have a bunch of gummy worms and gummy bears or something in the deal, but yeah, some tailgate packs coming, baby.
What those letters stand for?
So the B is for bacon, S is for sausage, E is for egg and cheese. So
that's dope.
Make it easy, man. When we first
easy
started,
to identify.
That's it.
That's
when we
dope.
first started, they all looked the same, the round ones, that I couldn't tell people what they were. So we started branding them. Now everybody's like, oh, well, at least I know what it is.
Yeah,
so do you have a little, how do you brand those? I
got a branding iron and a torch.
Oh, okay.
I got a branding iron and a torch in the back. So when they come out the oven, we heat up the iron, man, and just tap away, and them all up right when they come out the oven. So
yeah, for those that are watching or listening later, if you can get up to Coach's Kolaches, boy, Brent does a really nice job, and it's a nice environment, and boy, he's an Iowa State guy all the way. So starting to become a KU guy, but we won't know that.
No. I'll be supporting my son when he's there. Until then, you won't ever catch me with that other stuff on.
Well, and Marcus, I'm frankly amazed that you have McDonald's that's the ice cream machine still works. So
right, they always broke.
That's what I told. Like I told the person on Facebook, like we live in Green Valley. It's not like Las Vegas. Las Vegas is Green Valley and Henderson is the old Vegas. Like Summerlin is the new Vegas. We used to live in Summerlin. Now we live in Green Valley, and this is what they call old money. So McDonald's are a little bit nicer than normal. So they, if it's down for one day, the next day they're gonna have it back up. So she always knows which one to go to. Now if we're in the city somewhere, it's definitely rolling the dice. But yeah, we pretty much get ice cream anytime we want out here.
All right, just one quick item as we close out. I'm going to ask Chris Shipley to jump on, and Chris has something special that he's going to on Sunday evening. Chris, you want to share what that it's about, and deals directly about Three Beards Media.
Yeah, so I don't know if everybody knows. Hopefully they do, but 3 of our podcasts were nominated for some podcast awards. Old Man Strength was nominated for Best Interview Podcast. False Starts was nominated for Best Wellness Relationship Podcast, and Three Blind Refs was nominated for Best Sports Podcast. So awards ceremony is Sunday night in Cedar Rapids, so I'll be representing Three Beards Media.
Nice.
And they're up for People's Choice Awards. People voted for those, and then these individual awards. So we'll see what happens. My wife and I are going to go Cedar Rapids Sunday night. I'm so dedicated. I'm missing the Bears game. How about that? I'm missing the Texans-Bears game. So,
don't worry. I'll take
and you must be sky high. That was a great weekend for you, Chris. The Cyclones win, and the Bears actually won a game with a rookie quarterback.
I know, right? And Montgomery hit that touchdown to get the over. I hit a 7-leg parlay that night based off that. So it was a good weekend.
It was a great weekend. I'm glad you didn't listen to me this weekend, man.
Man,
well, what do you know, Brent? I don't play the game. What do you know?
How about that? Yeah.
Didn't Montgomery look awesome in that fourth quarter in the overtime, though?
Man.
Oh,
it's like he took it over.
Yes.
Took it over in overtime. I was like, I'd love to see that. He looked
nice. Monday night was nothing but Cyclones. Lazard with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Brees with a touchdown, and Brock leading the victory, and McDonald got a couple sacks. I mean, it was a Cyclone weekend.
Yeah,
that's what I said. Great week.
In those two night games, Sunday night and Monday night, those are the 2 biggest audiences of the week, outside of maybe the Thursday night kickoff game. And to have the Iowa State Cyclones on full display, boy, come to Iowa State, right?
That's it. You want to get developed, come up here.
All right, everyone. It has been great to have you, and we appreciate all of our viewers and listeners. And we'll see you again next time on the next episode of In the Side of the Storm.